Hey, this is Morgan James, and you know I got soul.
All right, Morgan. So, I want to start out with your origins. Originally from Idaho, and eventually ended up coming to school here in New York City for the, Julliard and everything. How was that like making the transition?
Well, I moved to New York City when I was 18 from California, actually. I lived in Idaho when I was a kid. Then we lived in California, and then I moved all the way across the country, and I went to Julliard. And, I thought 59th Street was downtown. I was so sheltered, but I wasn't afraid because I knew I was supposed to be here, and it's what I wanted to do. It was my dream to go to Julliard, so I was so excited to be here. I just took everything in.
After you had graduated from the Juilliard, where did your career take you?
Well, my career took many twists and turns, because I kind of thought I would graduate from Julliard and, be a star. Right. I was like, well, I got this voice, and I got this, degree, and I have talent, and I have dedication, and I'll make it. But it's so much harder than that. I started auditioning for theater and started singing in clubs, and I started waiting tables and doing all the things that I needed to do to pay the rent, and right. It was very difficult. But after a few years, I got on Broadway. I did 4 original companies on Broadway, and I started doing commercials and TV and theater. And then I found my voice, really, and I think that's the hardest part for an artist, is finding their voice, learning how to write, finding what is unique, what they have to say that's unique.
What do you think triggered that? Because obviously your career on Broadway took off a little bit first, and then you started branching to singing, but what really brought that out of you?
What really brought out the voice that I have, my soul voice, my true voice, was really not getting any work and being very sad and being poor and having to sit with that, because I think that's where the blues comes from. Mm-hmm. So I started singing out in clubs, and I kind of just imitated other people. I imitated Aretha or Mariah or Shaka or Ava Cassidy or Sade. I would learn how to imitate these people, but I didn't really have my own sound. And you have to spend time listening and singing and practicing, and you have to put in the time, and what launched really got my career started and brought me to the label was when I met Berry Gordy Jr. He is a mentor to me, and he introduced me to Reid and to Doug Morris, and he really saw something in me that maybe no one else had ever seen.
So that was my next question. What do you think when you got discovered by Epic and they first took notice of you? What was it that they saw in you that made them so interested and want to sign you?
Well, at the time I got signed, I didn't write music, really. That was, I really didn't know what kind of record I was going to make. I knew I was a soul singer. I knew I was going to make a soul record. I wanted to. And when Doug Morris actually signed me to Epic Records and introduced me and kind of handed me over to Reid, and we kind of experimented. I did a lot of demos. I did a lot of songs that people would go, maybe not yet, or yes or no, and you have to experiment a lot before you find what you're ultimately going to make.
Right.
And I sang a lot of shows with the band because I had to try out material. So over the last 2 years, I sang a lot of shows, and some were hits, some were misses, and I tried to figure out what kind of record I was going to make. Right. That's all right.
So your album Hunter is coming out later this year, second album on Epic.
Yes.
Introduce us to it.
So my album Hunter is going to be coming out on Epic Records November 10th or November 11th that week, and it features my single Call My Name, which is a Prince tune, and currently on urban radio, which I'm very happy about. And I co-wrote 9 of the 14 songs. It's a really rich soul album. I sang all the background vocals. I did not tune one single note. There is no tuning on my record. It's all real ingredients: horns, whirly, organ, piano. It's rich and soulful and funky, and I hope there's something for everybody on it.
Nice. So you mentioned the current single, Call My Name, currently getting airplay. Now, the Prince song, what drew you to this one to want to take a shot at that and cover it?
Well, I'm a huge Prince fan, and I had been singing Call My Name for several years, actually. I sang it in the first show I ever did. And so it's been in my body a long time. I arranged it, and I just love it. I love it from a woman's perspective. I think it's very intimate. It's very tender. His lyrics are very romantic, actually. They just really appealed to me. And I played it for LA, and he loved it. And he knew that it probably was not going to be approved because Prince doesn't approve a lot of songs. He doesn't really like people covering his songs. So his lawyer said no.
Wow.
And we initially released Hunter without Call My Name on it. And finally LA basically called Prince and said, will you listen to this? And he did. And he called, got right back to him and said, yeah, I love it. And so we had clearance. We took it to radio immediately. We pulled the other version of Hunter so we could add Call My Name.
Wow.
And that's why Hunter is coming out in a month. So everything kind of changed with Call My Name because we took it to WBLS, started playing it, and Heart and Soul started playing it, and then it started just had a life of its own. So I feel really, really blessed that Prince gave me his blessing.
That's awesome. Just final question. Can you talk about where your future aspirations lie? Because now you're having the success in singing. You've had success on Broadway and acting already. What is your focus going forward?
Well, I always, I take voice lessons still every single week. So my aspirations, my dreams keep evolving, I think dreams evolve, and I want to become a better songwriter. I want to do more collaboration and within, my genre, and I want to continue to make records. I want to just keep getting stronger as a musician. I want to make movies. Mm-hmm. But being a better songwriter, that's top of the list because I think that is a very intimidating, difficult task, and I really admire people that just continue to write and get stronger.
Awesome. So that's all we had. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the love that everybody keeps showing Call My Name, and yeah, that's all.
Cool. Can we get it?